Hey, this is Troy Stavros with Cornerstone Realty Associates here in Knoxville, Tennessee, and it's time to go over all of our information from the data that we got through the end of February and see where the market is here in Knoxville and in East Tennessee. So let's jump in and take a look, and remember that the real estate landscape here in Knoxville and in the broader East Tennessee region has been a roller coaster of highs and lows with significant shifts in home sales, prices, and rental growth rates. So as we jump into the intricacies of these changes, potential buyers and sellers and local homeowners will find valuable insights to navigate in this market in 2024. So let's jump in and take a look. So let's start by looking at the East Tennessee market. What has happened through February? So in the month of February, compared to 1 year earlier, home sales were down 2.7%. Pending sales were up 16.1%. And you can see when you compare the graphic on the right, which is February, to the graphic on the left, which was last month, we are seeing things pick up significantly. Last month, pending sales were down 6.3% compared to a year earlier. But now as we move closer to spring, pending sales have jumped considerably. So in February, pending sales jumped 16.1% compared to 1 year earlier. The inventory of homes is up 24% compared to a year ago. So there's more inventory on the market. That's good news for buyers. The new listings were up 30.9% in East Tennessee compared to a year ago. That's a big jump, again, compared to last month, which only saw a 1.5% increase in new listings. In February, 30.9% increase in new listings. The median sales price jumped in February, up 10.28% compared to a year ago, and came in at $354,000, with the average sold price per square foot coming in at $208 per square foot. The absorption rate dropped from 2.79 months worth of inventory to 2.67 months worth of inventory. So that is telling us that the market is tightening. It's getting a little bit more competitive because while the inventory of homes is up, there's less available inventory as far as supply and demand. So that's just telling us demand is not only holding up, but is increasing as we head into the spring. Inventory of homes is up, but demand is increasing. Let's take a look at some of the graphics for the month. So when we take a look here, we can see that ever since November, we have seen inventory falling. That's typical for this time of year. So we haven't seen an upswing for the spring market yet. So inventory is still continuing to fall. But we can expect as we get closer to the spring months that will shift on an upward trajectory. But we can see that as things were coming down for new listings, pending listings, and sold listings, this past month, between January and February, saw an uptick in the positive direction for all of those. So we saw new listings, pending listings, and sold listings all increase as opposed to decrease like they had months prior. Same with the absorption rate, as we spoke earlier. That typically follows this inventory line, so we can see the available months worth of inventory has decreased as well, which is telling us that demand is increasing. And that can also be seen over here in the sold to list price ratio, where we have seen things dropping since June, meaning that people had the ability to negotiate more. Well, this past month, between January and February, as we get closer to spring, we saw an uptick, meaning there was more competition and people were paying closer to list price for the homes that were on the market in East Tennessee. As far as the list prices go, you can see they've held pretty steady here and flat over this year, but we did see a little slight uptick in list prices here over the last month. When we look down here, we want to take a look and see of the sold listings, what price point in East Tennessee had the most sold listings, and that would be right here at the $300,000 to $350,000. 157 sales, followed immediately by 250 to 300 had 156. But this price point right here, as usual, is our most active as far as sales, the 250 to 400 price point in East Tennessee. As far as homes that went under contract last month, the most homes went under contract in the $350,000 to $400,000 price point. That saw 252 homes go under contract. So that was definitely the leader as far as pending sales last month. For active listings, what price point in East Tennessee has the most available inventory? That would be the $250,000 to $300,000, has 433 active listings, followed by the $350,000 to $400,000, which has 418 active listings. The most new listings came on the market in the $250,000 to $300,000 price point, 275, followed by the $350,000 to $400,000 price point, which saw $300,000 to $350,000, saw $254,000, $350,000 to $400,000, saw $259,000. So let's jump over and look at the Knoxville, Tennessee market specifically. So this is anything with a Knoxville, Tennessee address. So in February, home sales in the Knoxville area increased 9%. So when you look at last month, the card to the left, last month they had decreased 2.4% from a year earlier, but this month they increased 9% from a year earlier. So you can see home sales are heating up in Knoxville, just like we saw in all of East Tennessee. The inventory of homes is up 23.2% in Knoxville. So again, more available inventory for buyers looking in the Knoxville area. The pending sales up 20.1%. Again, a big jump compared to a month earlier with the card on the left, only a 0.4% in January, but in February we saw a 20.1% increase in pending sales. New listings up 30.2%. Another big jump. When we look at the card on the left, in January, we were down 5.7% as far as new listings from a year earlier, but in February, up 30.2%. So seeing a lot more new listings come on the market. As far as the median sales price, it was up 11.29% compared to 1 year earlier and coming in at $386,718, with the average sold price per square foot coming in at $214 per square foot in Knoxville, with the absorption rate dropping from 1.69 months worth of inventory to 1.46 months. That is extremely low. Less than 1.5 months worth of inventory tells us demand is high in Knoxville and inventory is low, which means prices will continue to increase. Let's look at some graphics for Knoxville. So when we look here, we can see the number of listings has been dropping since November and has yet to upswing. So just like we said earlier, as far as East Tennessee, eventually, as we get closer to the spring market, we'll see this number continue to go up. But right now, still dropping as far as overall inventory. The absorption rate dropping as well, like we said, less than 1.5 months worth of inventory, extremely low, which will keep things very competitive for buyers in the Knoxville market. Listing prices have held pretty steady, as you can see here, but again, the sold to list price ratio did tick up last month, so definitely seeing more competition, people paying closer to the list price than they were months prior. When we look down here, we can see the sold listings as far as what price points had the most sold listings last month in Knoxville. That would be the $350,000 to $400,000 price point, saw 60 homes sell last month. As far as pending listings, what listing price went pending the most last month? That would be the $350,000 to $400,000 price point, saw 86 homes go under contract last month. As far as available active inventory, what price point has the most inventory available? Again, the $350,000 to $400,000 price point in Knoxville has 95 active listings. And which price point saw the most new listings come on the market in February? That would be, again, the $350,000 to $400,000 price point. So in every category we looked at, $350,000 to $400,000 was the top price point in Knoxville. Let's take a look at some other information here. When we look at the advanced analytics, we can compare it to other years previous. We can see that right now, this tells us information up to last Friday, which was March 22nd. So as of last Friday, we're about in the same place as far as the market action index, which gives us a number as far as where we are, whether it's a buyer's market or a seller's market. So the number 30 on the market action index is the break-even point between a buyer's market and a seller's market. So we're currently, as of last Friday, at a 53.33. So we are definitely still deep into a seller's market. But that being said, if you're a seller and you're pricing your home, you can't price it necessarily like it was a couple years ago when the market was crazy. You can see where the market action index was here in 2022. It was at 99. So it was a much hotter market in 2022 than it is right now. It was a 99 in 2022, but right now we're at about a 53, basically the same place we were last year. As far as the inventory, you can see there is more inventory available. The green line was last year. The black line is this year. As of last Friday, there is more inventory on the market now than there was last year. As far as new listings coming on the market in Knoxville, we are seeing more new listings come on the market as of last Friday than we did in both 2022 and 2023. But you can see we're still significantly below the amount we had coming on the market, which is the red line in 2019 pre-pandemic. As far as the median price, you can see that the median price right here is below where it was last year. The green line is 2023. The black line, again, is 2024. So this is as of last Friday. The median price is below where it was a year ago, above where it was in 2022, and well above where it was in 2019. You might ask yourself, how come it's lower than it was a year ago? And a big reason for that could be interest rates, because interest rates are high and many people have bought or refinanced into a lower interest rate where they might be around 3% or below, and the current interest rate is right around 7%. People with more expensive houses are not putting their homes on the market as much as they would have if the interest rates were lower. So they're hanging on to their houses, not putting their homes on the market, where there are more people in lower price points that are willing to put their homes on the market. And that's why the overall median price of active listings is lower now than it was a year ago. When we look at the median price of new listings, that is actually higher than it was a year ago. So we are still seeing overall the price of new listings is higher than it was 1 year ago as of last Friday. And as far as price decreases, we are still seeing more price decreases now than we were a year ago at the same time, but they are coming down. Earlier in January, they were over 50% of the homes that were on the market had to have a price reduction, and that has been steadily coming down. And right now, as of last Friday, 44% of the homes that are active on the market in Knoxville have had a price reduction. Okay, let's jump over and take a look at this graphic here. Again, this was the market action index that we talked about. We're at a 50, where 30 is the break-even point for buyer's market and seller's market. So yes, deep into a seller's market. But like I said earlier, we are not where we were in 2021 and 2023. We were way up here. Now we're here. Still in a seller's market, but not this kind of a seller's market. We want to take a look at the market segments and see how things are looking as of last Friday. So again, the market segments, it breaks up the market into 4 segments of price points, with the median price in the 4 segments of the entire active market in Knoxville. So the lowest segment, the average price in the lowest segment in Knoxville is $289,450. In that price segment, you can expect to get around 1,264 square feet. You'd expect to get around a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Age of that home would be around 59 years old. And as of last week, that segment saw 33 new listings come on the market and saw 32 listings get absorbed. So there is definitely demand. We saw listings come on and just about the same amount of listings come off. So that is telling us there is definitely demand in that price segment. And in that segment, the average days on the market for the active homes was 28 days on the market. The segment above that was $385,000. That segment, you can expect to get about 1,958 square feet, a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath, about a 43-year-old home. That segment saw 33 new listings come on the market and saw 36 get absorbed. So even more demand in that price segment right now in Knoxville. 33 new came on the market, 36 were absorbed or went under contract. So plenty of demand in that price segment. And that segment, days on the market average for the active homes was only 21 days on the market. The next segment above that, the average price point was $545,000. In that segment, you can get about 21 square feet, a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, a 16-year-old home. And in that segment, we saw 24 new listings come on the market and 25 get absorbed by going under contract. So again, demand in that price segment as well. And in that segment, the average days on the market was 42 days on the market. And in the top segment in Knoxville, that average price was $849,900. In that segment, you can expect to get about 3,401 square feet, 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath, about a 21-year-old home. In that segment, we saw 17 new listings come on the market last week. We saw 15 get absorbed or go under contract last week. And the average days on the market in that segment was 42 days on the market. So of all 4 segments, the most competitive is the $385,000 segment because that one had the lowest amount of days on the market and also saw the most available homes absorbed. Okay, let's take a look at what is happening in the surrounding counties around East Tennessee. Let's start with Roane County. This is comparing this February to February of last year. Available inventory is up in Roane County 36.1%. Pending sales were up 10.9%. The median sales price in Roane County was up 5.87% and came in at $317,500. And the median sold price per square foot in Roane County in February was $160 per square foot. In Knox County, the available inventory in February was up 24.5% compared to a year earlier. Pending sales were up 23%, and the median sales price in Knox County was up 9.54% compared to a year earlier and came in at $381,080. The median sold price per square foot in Knox County came in at $211 per square foot. In Anderson County, the available inventory was up 66.7%. Pending sales in Anderson County were up 46% compared to a year earlier, and the median sales price was up 9.29% in Anderson County, coming in at $300,000, with the median sold price per square foot in Anderson County coming in at $176 per square foot. In Loudoun County, the available inventory was up 13.5%. Pending sales in Loudoun County were down 5.6% compared to a year earlier. And the median sales price in Loudoun County was up 13.07% and came in at $450,000, with the median sold price per square foot in Loudoun County coming in at $244 per square foot. In Sevier County, available inventory was up 43.24%. Pending sales in Sevier County were down 34% compared to a year ago. And the median sales price in Sevier County was down 15.02% and came in at $469,500. And the median sold price per square foot in Sevier County came in at $334 per square foot. In Blount County, the available inventory was up 60.5%, pending sales were up 17.8%, and the median sales price was up 3.82% and came in at $366,500, with the median sold price per square foot in Blount County coming in at $223 per square foot. You can see a lot of green on that graphic on the right. So that means a lot of things are trending positive in all of the counties, with the exception of Sevier County, which has pending sales down and the median sales price down. And we've spoken about that in the past. Sevier County is a little bit different than the other counties, and that is very much investor driven, with Sevierville, Gatlinburg, and Pigeon Forge all within that county that have lots and lots of investment properties, which tend to be struggling a little bit more now because of the high interest rates. Less people are buying investment properties because interest rates are higher to make a property cash flow with a high interest rate. That is a direct correlation with why things are down in Sevier County. Okay, hopefully that was helpful. I'm going to jump into the summary of the market just to talk a little bit about what is happening other than the numbers, just so you know where you stand and how to get a good idea of what is happening in the market. So, as we take a look back at 2023, there have been declines and there have been growth. The past year witnessed a notable 15.2% decline in total home sales across East Tennessee, marking one of the most significant annual downturns on record. Despite this reduction in sales activity, home prices bucked the trend, growing by 5.3% from the previous year, even more so in different local sections of Knoxville. So, the dichotomy underscores a resilient market that, despite challenges, continues to grow in value, and we expect to see that continue to happen this year. The Knoxville metro area in particular saw its home prices surge by 11.7% in the fourth quarter of 2023, securing the number 8 spot in the U.S. for price growth, according to the FHFA House Price Index. This growth is reflective of Knoxville's enduring appeal and the substantial role newcomers play in the local housing market, further evidenced by the city's ranking as number 17 on U-Haul's list of top growth cities in 2023. As far as the rental market, January brought a slowdown in apartment rent growth, with the Knoxville metro area experiencing a 3.7% increase from the previous year, compared to a mere 0.25% national uptick. So again, Knoxville is above and surpassing what is happening nationally as far as the rental market. This moderation in rent increases might offer some relief to renters, although the market remains competitive. So let's forecast 2024. What are we expecting? Looking ahead, the East Tennessee region is poised for a rebound, with home sales expected to rise by 11.1% in 2024. While home prices are forecasted to grow at a more modest rate of 3.6%, this anticipated upturn in sales, alongside stable price growth, presents a promising landscape for both buyers and sellers. How about inventory and affordability? The current subdued nature of the housing market is largely attributed to the lack of resale inventory and ongoing affordability issues. However, there's a silver lining, as inventory levels are expected to improve with the arrival of the spring selling season, alongside fairly stable affordability conditions. These factors are set to inject more certainty into the market, benefiting both buyers and sellers. So, what are some things that Knoxville is doing about the lack of inventory? In a bold move to tackle the housing shortage, Knoxville has embraced the Missing Middle Housing Plan, which is allowing for denser housing on smaller lots while preserving neighborhood aesthetics. This initiative is crucial for creating more affordable housing options without sacrificing the charm and uniqueness of Knoxville's neighborhoods. So, what about home seller profits? They're at a record high. Knoxville homeowners have seen their equity soar, with the city ranking among the top U.S. metro areas for the return on investment in home sales. The typical Knoxville home seller in 2023 enjoyed a staggering profit margin of 98.1%, showcasing the financial benefits of homeownership in the region. What about mortgage rates, though? The economic landscape, particularly in terms of mortgage rates and inflation, plays a significant role in the real estate market. With mortgage rates experiencing fluctuations and the Federal Reserve's cautious stance on interest rates, potential buyers and sellers must stay informed to make strategic decisions. As of the last meeting of the Fed, it looks like they are going to stay pretty stable on interest rates, hopefully reducing interest rates later in the year, but it doesn't look like they're going to be doing it as soon as everyone hoped. So we can expect interest rates to stay pretty close to where they are now in the upper 6% range, hopefully to come down later this year. In conclusion, the Knoxville and East Tennessee real estate market is complex, with various factors influencing its trajectory. However, the region's resilience, innovative housing solutions, and promising forecasts for 2024 offer a beacon of hope for those looking to navigate this market. Whether you're buying, selling, or simply keeping an eye on home values, staying informed will be key to making the most of the opportunities that lie ahead. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to reach out to me. This is Troy Stavros with Cornerstone Realty Associates, and I look forward to talking to you and helping you buy, sell, or just answer any questions about the real estate here in East Tennessee. We'll talk to you soon.